Merry Christmas, friend. If you'll give me the next half hour, I promise you'll be glad you did, and it might put a little bit of hope into the heart that is hopeless or despairing. Stay with me, okay? I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Christmas. It's Christmas night. For some people, it brings a lot of joy. For others, a lot of sorrow, sadness, anxiety, fear, loneliness. Stay with me through this show. I promise you'll be happy that you did. Can you picture this? Lady, where's my eggnog? I need more wine. I need more wine. These lamb chops are cold. Maybe that's what Joseph heard. I mean, think about it. When Joseph went to Bethlehem, he was pounding on doors. He was frantic. Your heart has to go out to him. Here is a man, a human man, who has been charged by God Almighty with the care of the Virgin Mary and the Son of God. And he's got to find a place for her to have her baby because she's in labor. She's in hard labor. So he's approaching this inn, and he's hearing the yelling from on the inside. I can't believe I had to travel all this way so that I could pay my taxes. This is outrageous. This bed is hard. Now remember, we're not talking about a Days Inn. We're not talking about a Hampton Inn. We're not even talking about a Motel 6. We're talking about a building that does not have running water. Start with that. We're talking about a building that likely did not have all kinds of private rooms, but maybe one big room, maybe one fireplace. People bumping up against each other. They're angry, they're grumpy, they're smelly. Think about how bad the conditions would have been inside of that inn. Now, all Joseph knew is that he had to have cover. When you watch the movies, when you read the stories, you often see a kind man or a kind woman who says, go around back, or over down there, there's a stable. Probably was a cave. I've been to Bethlehem. It was probably a cave. That cave would have smelled a lot better with fresh hay, fresh straw, than that inn smelled. That cave would have been a lot quieter than that inn filled with grumpy, some of them drunken travelers. That cave was a much more reverent location for the Son of God, the King of Kings, to be born. And, again, think of the manger scene. You've got inquisitive cows and donkeys and lambs approaching the baby. That's what our manger scenes look like. I mean, it's left to the artist's imagination. But can you imagine that instead of having our kids dress up like shepherds and lambs, if they were drunken taxpayers, brawlers? All right, now, Johnny, in this part of the play, this is when you're going to hit Billy. Don't really hit Billy in the face. Just swing close to him. And then, Billy, you start yelling, ah! And then I want you, Susie, to say, hey, everyone, look, that lady over there is having a baby. Oh, this is crazy. Can you imagine how chaotic it would have been for Mary and Joseph if they had been in the inn? The reason I bring this up, besides just the kindness and the grace of God, is that there's a lot of times when in the moment things are really difficult for us. You might be facing something really difficult, and it feels like God's not coming through. Nothing is working out. Like Joseph, he traveled all that way, and you've got all these things going on in your life, and you're begging God, and you're pounding on doors, and you're looking for help, and it's not coming, or at least not coming in the way you thought. Maybe when Joseph was told he could go out where the animals were, maybe he was relieved, maybe he was anxious, maybe he was upset, sad, angry. We don't know. But when he got there and everything was calm and everything was dry and everything was quiet, and Mary looked at him and said, it's going to be okay, Joseph. it didn't come in the way that he wanted. It didn't come in the way that he thought it should. And maybe life has given you some really serious difficulties, really serious ones. And right now you're in despair, loneliness. You think God has let you down. People that should have been there for you, genuinely should have been there for you, let you down. I mean, in reality, the people in the inn, when they heard that a pregnant mom was about to deliver her baby, the people inside the inn, both the owners and the clients, they should have said, "Oh my goodness, honey, come on inside. We'll make room for you. Everyone, look at this beautiful girl. She's about to have her baby. Let's make room." They didn't do it. I would argue that it was a legitimate duty that they had to show kindness to Mary and Joseph, and they failed. There might be people in your life who have a legitimate duty to help you, and they have failed you. They failed. Man, there's nothing like that sense of loneliness. There's nothing like that sense of heartbreak. When somebody who you thought was going to help you, someone who you really believe, and probably it's true that they're kind of duty bound, honor bound to help you, a family member, a close friend, something. And it went south, it went bad. That's a time when a lot of despair sets in. So if you're having a rough night because of that, God knows. Mary and Joseph know. Joseph knows. It might be worth your while to just think about Joseph, how rough he had it, how much fear and anxiety he might have had. Here he is trying to do the right thing, and people aren't helping him. And then help came in a way that he didn't expect. So help is on its way. Probably is not going to come in the way that you expect, but hang in there. Don't quit. Don't despair. Stay with me through this break. I want to talk especially to people who are despairing. You feel like, man, what's there even to live for? I want to play for you a clip from a really famous scene where somebody decided that they were going to take their own life. Just stay with me, okay? And one other good thing about Mary and Joseph that's really important for you, okay? Hang with me. I'll be right back. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. Hello again, friend. If you're having a difficult time during this Christmas holiday, the Christmas season, stay with me throughout the whole show. Please stay with me, all right? There's a lot of things that happen in our lives that are not right. They're not fair. Sometimes, some of it's due to our own negligence, our own bad choices. That can add to our despair. I'm going to play a clip for you in 1 second, and just to kind of tie that together. But before I do, listen to me. Think of how God saved baby Jesus' life by not having room at the inn. If they had been in the inn, that whole building full of people would have been witnesses. Remember, Herod sent soldiers to find the baby and to kill him. And there would have been a lot of people that said, "Oh yeah, I remember. They look like this, they look like that, they came from over here." There would have been all these people who were eyewitnesses. And as it was, no one knew. It was God's secret and Mary and Joseph's secret. And I'm saying this to you because sometimes we go through these heartaches and we think that God should do it this way. And he doesn't do it that way. Only in retrospect can we say, oh, wow, that makes sense. God was not only taking care of me, he was protecting me from something even worse. So whatever difficulty you're going through right now, I know that things are tough. I know that they are. And I know that people have let you down. But if you can just hang in there, it might be that it's going to work out in a way that is even better. And when you look back, you'll be like, oh, I see it now. I couldn't see it then. Just like with Jesus and Mary and Joseph. All right, I want to play you a clip. I know that there are some people that are watching that are really probably depressed. It happens at holiday time. It just does. So I want you to watch this clip, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about it, all right? One of my favorite movies of all time, It's a Wonderful Life.
Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there and you can hear me, show me the way. I'm at the end of my rope, right? Show me the way, oh God.
Bailey? Which Bailey?
This Mr. George Bailey.
The next time you talk to my wife like that, you'll get worse. She cried for an hour. It isn't enough she's slaves teaching you stupid kids how to read and write. You have to bawl her out, eh?
Get out of here, Mr. Welch!
Now, wait a minute. I want to pay for my drink.
Never mind the money, you get out of here, quick!
All
You
right.
hit my best friend, get out!
You all right, George?
Who's that? He gone. No worry. His name is Welsh. He no come into my place no more.
Oh, wow. That's what I get for praying.
The last time he come in here, you hear that, Nick?
Yeah, too bad. Where's my insurance policy? Oh, here.
So the genius of this is it's so much like us. You know, I'm not a praying man. Maybe you are a praying man. Maybe you're not. The point is that we reach those foxhole moments where we're desperate, and you see the desperation in his face, and he's thinking about killing himself. He's got the $15,000 life insurance policy. Potter mocks him later. You're worth more dead than alive. All of this leading, because, you know, the truth of the matter is, I was listening to a testimony the other night from a lady who tried to take her own life. Took a bunch of pills. I mean, it was horrible, horrible. But she was safe. Thank God she was safe. She was rescued. But what she said was, I felt like the world would be a better place if I wasn't here. And that's what George Bailey was feeling. And it's just not true. It's not true, friend. You might think that it's true. You might trick yourself into thinking it's true. There might even be, you know, a little bad angel whispering in your ear that it's true. But it's not true. Even if you have messed up God's plan for your life, even if you're not sure that there is a God, it is not true that the world would be a better place without you, because the heartache that is left behind, it's not worth it. Now, there are people who, to spite other people, to spite them, they have actually taken their own lives because they wanted so much to bring pain into the person's life who had hurt them or let them down or wronged them, hoping that they could saddle that person with guilt or anger for the rest of their life. Maybe they did. But was it worth it? Really and truly? There is a sun that's going to rise tomorrow. There is hope, even when it feels hopeless. And there are moments when it feels hopeless, but it's not. So here you have George Bailey getting punched, he's bleeding, and he goes, oh, that's what I get for praying. So maybe you've prayed, and it didn't work out the way you wanted, just like with Mary and Joseph. Sometimes the prayers don't get answered in the way we would like or in the timing that we would like. And that's just the truth. I felt like God let me down. When my dad died, weirdest experience. It was February 2nd, 1999. And he had gone to see where he grew up. And I talked to the people. He went and visited family and friends, and he was clearly depressed, had some alcohol to drink, not a ton, but climbed in bed, and then he threw up in his sleep, and he died. Before I got the call, I got off of an airplane, and I was walking through the airport with a friend of mine, and I had this flash, this epiphany, and I said, you know what every single person in this airport has in common? He looked at me and I said, everyone here feels like God let them down. Everybody here feels like God let them down, and they have some anger, resentment toward God for letting them down. And literally, within 30 seconds, the phone rings. It's a policeman telling me that my dad was dead. I mean, I started to cry and howl, and I was so angry at God. I was so angry. I felt God let me down. I just kept saying, God, all you had to do was have an angel bump him. Just bump him. Just get him to roll over on his side, because he was lying on his back while he was asleep, and he threw up and asphyxiated. I was so angry at God. I pounded the floor in anger for weeks. There are some things that we just don't ever get to figure out. I mean, I can see in retrospect the mercy of God on a number of levels, including with my dad. But there are just hard things that happen in life. There just are. And I remember having a long time later praying and having a vision. My dad in heaven saying, Randy, don't grieve for me. Don't grieve for me, Randy. I've got my mind back. And he looked so happy and so content. So I don't understand everything, but I know that I was angry at God, and I know I was angry at my dad, and I still, to this day, struggle. So if you are tempted to, or you know someone who's tempted to take their own life, it's just not worth it for the person, and it's not worth it for the pain that they will leave behind. It's not worth it. And that's what George Bailey learned. If you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life this year, I encourage you to do so. But it was just such a wonderful testimony of prayer, God answering prayer, God coming through in a way that George Bailey didn't think. Wasn't the timing that he wanted, wasn't the way that he wanted, but things worked out. So if you're having a rough Christmas season, hang in there. Things will work out. And stay with me through this break, because I do want to talk about one other thing that will be important to you. I promise you. Hang in there with me. I'll be right back.
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faith. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
We have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
We've been told that Muslim terrorists have hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. But Islamic art and literature tell a very different story. To know the truth, we only have to study the narrative of the founder of Islam, Muhammad, in his own words. Welcome back, friend. Comparative living can be helpful sometimes. It helps give us perspective. So maybe you're having a difficult Christmas season, and it's real. It truly is difficult. But it is a good time to remember that things are way worse for some other people. For example, there are Christians right now, they're in prison in China just for celebrating the birth of Christ. Do you understand that the way we celebrate Christmas in America, with the singing and the bells and the church services and the ornaments and the manger and the creche scene, there are people in China that if they dared to do that, they would go to prison. They're making the ornaments for us that they can't use publicly the way we do. If they did, they would go to prison. How crazy is that? So, and there are Christians in the Middle East right now that are truly suffering. They're hiding because under Islamic law, it is illegal to practice Christmas and to celebrate Christmas the way that the church has always done. It's a criminal act. To publicly declare that the Son of God is born is a criminal act. Do you understand? So it's a rough world out there. And sometimes there are people who are like, you know what, it is a bad world and I hate God for it. I hate God. I'm bitter against God because he let things get this way. It's not all God's fault. It really isn't. And he gave us free will. So our challenge is to use that free will to help each other. So that's the one thing about George Bailey that was so interesting. He got saved because he jumped into the water to save Clarence's life. He was going to take his own life, but when he saw someone else in need, it took him off himself, and then he saved that other man. And that is often the solution we need. Take our minds off ourselves, think about others, help others. I'll be right back. What Would Mohammed Do? Islamic Terrorism Explained is the best movie series documentary ever produced on the life of Muhammad and Islam. How do I know? Because it's what critics are saying. John Moore, radio host and author, said, I learned more from What Would Mohammed Do about Islam and Islamic terrorism than I've learned from everything I ever read and watched in my entire life. Best-selling author Dr. Bill Warner said, What Would Mohammed Do is the best movie series, TV production on the life of Muhammad and Islamic terrorism that has ever been produced. Friends, this is what the experts are saying. No one has ever done what we've done. I encourage you to get 1, 2, 4 copies. Call 304-289-3700. That's 304-289-3700, or order it at the address or the website that you see on the screen. Introducing Roxy Guitar. If you're a guitar or bass player, whether you play acoustic or electric, check out Roxy Guitar. I've been playing for over 40 years and seen guitar stores all over America. I've never seen a store like Roxy Guitar. Roxy Guitar has over 700 guitars in stock, over 1,500 pedals, over 200 amps. For the beginner or price-conscious buyer, there's Michael Kelly guitars. For the serious player or professional, Roxy Guitar has the finest selection of guitar lines I've ever seen. You know I love Warrior guitars. Roxy Guitar has over 100 Warriors in stock. They have Heritage, G&L, Gretsch, John Sears, BC Rich, Duesenberg, Dean, legendary guitars at great prices, including pre-owned Gibsons, Fenders, and more. Let them know you heard about Roxy Guitar from Randall Terry and receive 10% or more off your purchase on select items. Go to roxyguitar.com. In moments of darkness, some of us are tempted to say, the world's problems are because of religion and Christianity. No. Come on. Look at what the world looked like before the coming of Jesus. And that's what it would look like now. Go to the places where Jesus is not worshiped and believed in, the subcontinent of Africa. Go to places where Christianity is illegal. Look at how life is in communism. The coming of Christ elevated the human experience for everyone where Christianity took root. So trust me on this one. God and Jesus and Christianity, they're not the source of the world's problems. They're the cure, both for the world and even for us. God bless you. you.